The brain responds differently to different macronutrients. Metabolically and cognitively, a calorie is not just a calorie due to the fact food impacts on our dopamine response. The type of food we eat has a significant impact on dopamine function, which then acts on areas of the brain to give you feelings of pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. Dopamine also has a role to play in controlling memory, mood, sleep, learning, concentration, movement, and other body functions. So let's dive straight into how you can eliminate belly fat by optimizing your dopamine and brain connection. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel a lot. Give the video a like, and if you've got any questions, drop me a comment in the comment section below. Right, so first let's start by exploring the two different patterns of dopamine release in the brain, which are tonic dopamine and phasic dopamine, each associated with distinct functions. Tonic dopamine is bound to receptors. Tonic dopamine release is characterized by a relatively steady, continuous release of dopamine in the brain. This baseline level of dopamine activity helps to maintain overall brain function and stability. Tonic dopamine is associated with regulated mood, motivation, and overall arousal levels. It plays a role in sustained attention, goal-directed behavior, and general responsiveness to stimuli. So this is your baseline dopamine levels for each day and how you function daily, right? Moving on to phasic dopamine, which is free. It's free to attach to receptors. Phasic dopamine release involves rapid bursts or spikes of dopamine activity in response to specific stimuli or events or food. These bursts of dopamine occur in brief transient episodes and are highly responsive to environmental cues or rewards like emotional eating. Phasic dopamine is closely linked to reinforcement learning, reward prediction, and the process of salient or unexpected stimuli. It plays a critical role in shaping behavior by signaling the anticipation and delivery of rewards, thus influencing learning, decision-making, and motivation. So, in summary, tonic dopamine is your baseline level every day. Phasic dopamine is your level after reward or some sort of stimuli that you experience each day, or like training or food, right? Now, in 2023, a study, Dietary Fat Restriction Affects Brain Reward Regions in Randomized Crossover Trial, they concluded that individuals in a low-carb, high-fat deficit, so they were both 30% calorie deficit, which is quite aggressive. So the individuals in low-carb, high-fat deficit showed no effect on their dopamine reward circuit when showed a picture of food, and they measured this via a functional MRI scan, which shows where the blood is going to the brain, right? Individuals in low fat diet, high carb, same calorie deficit setup, showed a decrease in the dopamine reward circuit. They went into a dopamine deficit, meaning it decreased dopamine activity and they were wanting more dopamine, right? So this image from that study outlines that, right? So the high fat and then a high carb intake group, and then they're split obviously into the same calorie deficit or calorie restriction. Then the high fat diet, essentially they didn't eat as much afterwards, right? So what does this mean for our relationship with food? What the study shows is that the low fat diet, high carb group had increases in tonic dopamine. This increase means even in a calorie deficit, when shown food, an elevated amount of dopamine sites are activated. Think of a hungry dog shown a juicy bone. That's what's going on in the brain for an individual in this situation. They would need a very high stimulation to feel reward from a meal. This does not happen in the low carb group, right? Here's a super interesting part. Leptin is a hormone primarily produced by fat cells, adipocytes, in the body. It acts on the hypothalamus in the brain to suppress appetite and promote feelings of satiety after eating. When fat stores are sufficient, leptin levels rise, signaling the brain that the body has enough energy reserves, which helps to decrease hunger and food intake. Bear with me one sec. My camera is not focusing, so let me see if I can bring myself back. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so when fat stores are sufficient, leptin levels rise, signaling the brain that the body has enough energy reserves, which helps to decrease hunger and food intake. Leptin inhibits dopamine. When leptin binds to the brain, it slows down the release of dopamine, which helps to manage appetite. What happens when you become overweight is that you become leptin resistant, which means you're not getting this inhibitory effect on dopamine. This process explains why allowing yourself to become overweight or consuming a very high carb diet leads to dysregulation between leptin and dopamine in the brain. You end up suffering through tides of sugar cravings. This thirst for high sugar snacks or high calorie meals is too much for most people to withstand due to addiction to this higher level of dopamine requirement. Now, this diagram clearly breaks this down, right? So how do you optimize dopamine levels? Alongside a balanced diet and regular exercise, a personalized coaching strategy can guide you. A lot of people don't know how to fix this by themselves because they are in a state of dysregulation, right? They need accountability, they need a plan, they need structure, and they need guidance. It's very hard to climb yourself out of this hole for most people because they just haven't got the motivation, they haven't got the willpower, and they don't know how. They don't have access to a lot of this information, and they don't understand what's actually going on with their body. So it becomes a spiraling effect over years and years and years, and then you become obese, overweight, and you find yourself in a situation where you can't control your sugar cravings or control your eating habits, right? I aim to tailor strategies around your lifestyle, ensuring your brain and body work together for optimal health. If I've piqued your interest, then it's time you joined my results-driven fitness coaching program. Say goodbye to belly fat and hello to optimized dopamine levels. Now, if you would like an extensive list of ways to optimize dopamine levels and lose belly fat, read the caption below. I've fully broken it down in there. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and if you're tired of waiting for the right time and want to break through the plateau of your training or your progress that you're not seeing and accelerate high performance levels through strategy, execution, behavior change, and science-based nutrition, join my high performance movement. Don't forget to give me a follow, like the video, and I will see you on the next one.